Hello and welcome back to the GB Fantasy Football channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at something a little different. Instead of statistical data and all sorts down that front, I'm going to be doing 5 top tips for you to potentially win Sun Dream Team. Now, before I go into all that, I'd like to thank you all very much for the support on the channel. 500 subscribers, and I can't thank you all enough. Really, I never expected to reach that kind of milestone when I started this channel towards the back end of last season, and with all the pre-season content, it's just going up and up and up. So I'd like to thank you all very much for that, because without you, this channel would be nothing. It really wouldn't. So thank you very much. If you could drop a thumbs up to celebrate that milestone and subscribe to the channel, see how close we can get to potentially the 1000 mark, 600, 700. We'll see where this channel goes. But without further ado, let's crack on with the video. Yes, this video is focusing around 5 points to potentially win Sun Dream Team. Now, there's been a lot of new subscribers to the channel over the past month or so. So for those of you who don't know, I did indeed finish 3rd in the world last season on Sun Dream Team. Yes, it wasn't quite first in the world. Unfortunately, a couple of people beat me to that title, but fair credit to them. Even coming 3rd in my very first season playing the game, yes, a few people have questioned that, but it was indeed my first season playing the game completely. The only time I'd played it previously to last season was the Euro 2024 game on Sun Dream Team, but that was a completely different format. The prices didn't fluctuate, and it was only over 7 game, sort of like 7 game weeks as sorts. You had the group stages and you had the knockout rounds, but it wasn't the same sort of setup and layout as the Sun Dream Team game itself. So it was technically my first season playing the game, and I did finish that high. Some of the tips that I'd like to give out, if any of you actually would like to hear them, because I'm just a guy with a bit of luck and an eye for a bargain in fantasy games and in real life, I suppose. But in Sun Dream Team, you have to balance it all out correctly. You can't just, even if you have the best 11 players on the pitch possible, you're still crossing your fingers for luck each week. Now, what I will say is when we're going into that first game week and we've got all this drafting time ahead of it, it's one of the only times in the season we have full control over who we have over all 11 players. So what I'd say is going into that game week 1, pick a team that has reliable assets. Don't be picking players that could potentially coming back from injury, or maybe they're an anomaly, you don't know how they performed previously. I mean, don't get me wrong, there will be a few players in our drafts that we've not seen play before in the Premier League, and that's okay. Players like Victor Gyökeres being a standout one, even players who've transferred, like Aït-Nouri springs to mind. We don't know how he's going to fit into that Manchester City team. He could hit the ground running, but currently we don't quite know that. Now on the screen will be the ownership of the players currently highest in Sun Dream Team going into that game week 1. This is obviously going to change the closer we get. People's form will pick up and the bandwagons will roll. But as you can see, these are the players that you don't really want to be going against too much on ownership wise. Towards the back end of last season, when I was scrapping for points and trying to find any which way, shape, or form to potentially catch ground on the people above me, this was a key graphic going into that, because you didn't want too many players. I think at the start of the season, it is massively different. You don't want to go against the grain too much, because if these players hit it off and you haven't got them in your team, let alone captaining them, but we'll come back to that a little bit later on, your season could be over before it's even started. You want to go with the crowd for the majority of your team and throw in a few differentials in there to potentially shift away from the crowd, but still go with the wave. So out of the 11 players, personally, I'd probably go for 8 or 9 that are heavily owned, and then 2 or 3 that have differential reasons. So on the list, we can see Cole Palmer, 51.1% owned, Mo Salah, 49%, which surprised me that Cole Palmer is actually owned by more people than Mo Salah. It's a surprising statistic. I think Salah prior to this week was only the second most owned in FPL as well, behind João Pedro. It's an interesting one. I think that's That's his price going up that's putting people off rather than last season's performances. João Pedro, ironically, 37.1%. We then got Haaland, just shy of 33. Florian Wirtz, another one who's a new anomaly into that Liverpool system. How will he fit in? How will Arne Slot play him? Will he play in that number 10 role? Will he play slightly deeper? Will he play as a false 9? We're still yet to find that one out. And that's a £6 million premium player with a lot of questions behind him. Personally, I don't think I'm going to be going there, but I know a few of you will. And then we've got Saka, Gyökeres, Fernandes. Mickey van der Ven at nearly 20% owned is a surprising one. It really is. Quite prone to an injury. Yes, Tottenham do look better defensively in pre-season, but could we eke out more points elsewhere? We'll also come to that one a little bit later on in the video. So point one, I'd say pick assets that we know and trust with a few differentials along the way. Second point in today's video is planning. Planning is essential in this game. You don't want to look too short term, you don't want to look too long term. You want to find that solid middle ground where your assets can pick up points straight away, but they are needed for future game weeks. So as well as players, of course, we have chips, boosters, whatever you want to call them in this game, your 12th man, etc. We can use these once per season and not again. We do not get a second round of these like you do in other fantasy games. Once they are used, they are done. Obviously, this season, the new one is substitution rules, which enables us to have a 12th player coming into our team, replacing somebody who hasn't played in that game week. And that is different because that will technically give us, 8 separate boosters throughout the season. Now, these boosters can't be played, like you can't play 2 in the same week, basically. So they will have to be used in different weeks. So planning is key. Personally, I haven't looked too far ahead yet for goal bonus and 12th man. There is lots of potential with these chips. Last season, I had a decent return from the goal bonus. I don't know if they've changed it this year, but it was 8 or 9 points for a goal compared to 5 or 6, respectively. I think they dropped it from 10 points in the Euro, so it might have been 9 thinking about it. Last season, it went well. The only player that didn't do too well for me was Saka. I think he went off injured in that first game away to Palace. Ended up playing with 10 men, but Salah picked up 3 goals. And if you can nail the booster chips in weeks where a lot of players crack off, a lot of points are scored, and others aim for a week where it isn't really there to be had, you get a big jump on the rest of the people. I think last season my 12th man was Cole Palmer in a Premier League Carabao Cup double. He only played in one, he only played in the Premier League fixture and was a no-show for the Newcastle game in the Cup. Obviously, at the time you don't think much of it, but we've only come in 30 points or so behind first in the world. If I'd have picked a different set of fixtures where Cole Palmer plays, could he potentially just drag back a few of them points? Could he have got 10, 15 points and gone off in another game? Who knows? But these are the kind of long-term planning things that we really need to look at. Can it be done? Can it be just changed throughout? I think it can. The 1 week punts, not for me. Not for me. Towards the back end of the season, different story. At the start, we really need to be planning our squads for the Carabao Cup, for the Europa League, Conference League, and Champions League games from game week 4 onwards. We don't want to leave ourselves too short and not enough doublers across those weeks. And also, with the substitution rule now, it's a little bit different. Can you go into game week 1 with one differential punt that you're not too sure on, transfer him out, you're down to 4 substitutions for the rest of the season? It's not an ideal thing for me personally. It puts you on the back foot and you're behind the curve before you've even started. So this is why long-term planning is essential. Third on the list is don't just focus on goals, assists and clean sheets. Yes, it's easy to get hung up on this fact because we're all looking for our strikers, our midfielders to go absolutely incredible in front of goal. 2-3 goals a game would be the perfect thing in an ideal world. Unfortunately, on this game, an ideal world doesn't really exist. Look for points elsewhere when and where possible. Of course, your players like your Salahs and your Erling Haaland will be mainly goal and assist based. However, there are other options on this game and other avenues for points. Bonus point potential is huge. You've got your 1, 3, and 5 between, I think it's 8 points, 12 points. Anything above 12 points is 5 bonus points. 5 bonus points to 8 bonus points is just 1, and then 8 to 12 is 3. So there's a lot of potential. Players like Bukayo Saka is normally one to look at for these. Eze, another one where he can slip into this bracket. He might not pick up a goal or an assist in the game, but you look at his scores afterwards. He's picked up a few tackles along the way, he's picked up a few bonus points, and all of a sudden he's on 8 points from the game itself. Whereas someone with an assist and just playing points is on 5 points. And you think, how on earth have they done that? How have these players picked up something out of nothing, basically? A player like Daniel Munoz for Crystal Palace, another key asset, tackle monster, just throughout the season. Plenty of points to be had, even if Palace conceded in that game. He, obviously, a wing back role, getting forward, getting into the box, shots on target. These are the players that we have to look out for, especially at the start when budget is really, really tight. If you can pick up a 2 million asset or a 2.5 million asset that's picking you up between, I'd say, 3 and 7 points a game, you're not only going to be getting points per pound value, you're also going to be getting bonus value into your team, because these players will go up 0.2, 0.3. You'll be able to get those premium assets in ahead of the Champions League campaign as soon as possible. And that's what you need from your squad. You need the budget ones out, you need the premium ones in, and this is the fastest way to do it. So for me, points wise, spread the load across the team. Goalkeepers, don't focus on clean sheets all the time. Save points are essential. You'll find the odd goalkeeper who also gets lots of bonus points for things like catches and interceptions in the air, things like that. It will be a really, really good shout. Defenders look for most, midfielders second on that list, and then attackers for the bonus point value. Lots of points to be had all around. Keep your eyes peeled. Point number 4. Now we're leaning into point number 3 slightly on this one, but it's captaincy choices and maximising the team value. All key assets along the road. It's a long one, but captaincy choices. Off the bat, we're going to have a single in game week 1 and the potential for a double in game week 2. Now we don't know who the Premier League teams are going to be playing yet, fixture wise, but the harder the game, the more likely the player is to play normally. So a player like Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United, they're without Europa League or Conference League or Champions League football this season, so no European football at Old Trafford. Therefore, Man United are indeed going to have a Carabao Cup fixture in the second round. If they've got a decent Premier League team in that one, as well as an away fixture, I forgot who it is in game week 2. I know they've got Arsenal at home in game week 1. So Man United in game week 2 could have that double. I think Bruno Fernandes is a very good captaincy shout. He normally plays under Amorim, whether it's in an attacking role, a deeper role. If he's on the pitch, he's scoring points. You've got other players of notable thing in this one. You've got Mbeumo for captaincy in game week 2. And that's only the short-term plays. Captaincy choices from game week 4 onwards are always crucial. A lot of people, including myself, went for Salah in a sheep-like mentality last season. Thankfully, it worked on many, many weeks. But towards the back end of last season, if you went against Salah, you did exceptionally well. It cost me in the end, sticking by him and being far too loyal. The fear of missing out got to me. If at the start Salah isn't hitting it off, I think the early play will be to go against him. The Champions League fixtures will obviously dictate a lot of this. If Liverpool have an easy group, I think it's drew slightly differently now. You have 8 fixtures out of about, 30 odd teams. It's not the groups of 4 like it used to be. So if Salah has easier fixtures than someone like an Erling Haaland or perhaps another European player, I think Villa will go strong in the Europa League this season. So they're a team to look out for. But captaincy choices are always crucial. Keeping your double points. And also, once again, we're feeling into that bonus points thing. They don't always have to score goals. So keep your eyes peeled for people like Bruno Fernandes, who can pick you up points everywhere. And also, team value. Team value is really, really crucial on this game. Yes, we start off with 100 million, but within the first few weeks, I know this season transfer wise, you can save up to 6 in the first 3 game weeks. What I'd say on that front is you have to balance it out really, really well. Don't just hold the transfers back for holding transfer back's sake. Make sure you get the most out of your budget where possible. If you've got a player dropping 0.3 in value and you're targeting a player who is rising 0.3 in value, that's a 0.6 million swing in just a single player. I think that's too much of an opportunity to pass up on. Take the chance while you've got it. Try and get to 102, 103 million in the first, I'd say, 4 to 6 game weeks, and get a European team fit and ready for their campaign. See if we can get the Villa assets, see if we can get the Champions League teams, see who Newcastle are going to bring in up front, because it looks like Isak's going to go. So potentially there could be a budget option up front. I think the breaking news recently is Johan Vissa has decided with Brentford to part ways, of course, for a lot of money going in Brentford's pocket, but that might be one to look out for. Also, I think Benjamin Sesko's playing a bit of hardball, so I'm not sure how that one's going to play out. But of course, we've got the Arsenal defensive assets, I think, are going to be one to target for those early European fixtures, with Man United away and Liverpool away in the first 3. And with their price being pretty high, I don't see too many clean sheets in those first 3 fixtures. Yes, Leeds at home, but if we can get if we can get an Arsenal defender who's conceded a few in the first 2 games, hopefully not as an Arsenal fan, but if that does happen, the price will come down, easier to obtain, your team value is high, and all of a sudden your team has gone from having Leeds and Sunderland and Burnley players into a full European powerhouse. And the last point on today's list at the 5 is one of the most important to me. I joined this game last season because Sky Fantasy ceased to exist. There wasn't really anything else on the market. I've been playing Fantasy Premier League, the FPL game, for I think it's 3 seasons now. I wanted to try something different, and Sundry team lured me in during the Euros, and I continued it into the season, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And that is the point I want to get across. This is a fantasy game. Yes, there's cash leagues out there, and a lot of people play this on a more serious level, and that's absolutely fine. I dabble occasionally in those sort of leagues, but at the end of the day, it's a fantasy game. We play this because we love football as a sport, especially this game more than any, because it focuses on the Carabao Cup fixtures, the European fixtures, all the domestic competitions, and the league as well. It feels like every game of football you're watching, it's affecting your points tally, and that can go both good and bad. If your team's doing really well and the players that you've chosen are scoring goals, getting points, and you're raising and flying up your leaderboards, you want to watch them games and you're feeling great. But on the days where it doesn't happen and your player's been sent off and you've gone from first to fourth in your league, they're the days where it's tough. And I get that. But this is a fantasy game. We've just got to try and enjoy it, have some fun. I was first in the world last year at times, and at moments I wasn't even going to finish in the top 10. Now, you're going from winning £50,000 to potentially not even getting any reward for a long season. It really affected me. I remember one of the games I brought in Mateus Cunha at Wolves, and I took him out right before the deadline. Lo and behold, he went on to score, I think it was 20 odd points or something ridiculous. And I was always trying to claw back my position in the world afterwards. Of course, I still finished incredibly well at 3rd position. I won't doubt that in the slightest. But even that small snapshot in my season, it still lingers on my mind now, and how many months down the line. So I do try really hard to enjoy it, and I'd say the same to all you who play the game. Enjoy it when you can. Of course, there's going to be down days, but it's a long season. We can't win this competition in the first week. Whoever we pick, whatever 11 players we choose, on August, whatever, when the season starts, none of us are going to win it. But come May, when everything's wrapped up and we're all counting the points that we've amassed throughout the season, we're going to look back at moments where things went well, things went bad, and we're going to have a laugh about it. So that's what I'd say on that front. Just have fun. Just enjoy the game for what it is. And I'm really looking forward to the season, I can't lie. And that does conclude today's video. Now, thank you very much for watching. It has been a different one compared to usual. We've not been talking premiums, we've not been talking budget enablers, we've not been talking all things drafts. But I thought this kind of video is important because the players that we stick in there, they'll amass points one way or another. Drilling down and really trying to find out what could potentially be a really good way to approach the season, and a few points to really help us along might help. So thank you very much for watching. The normal content will resume in the next coming days. I think I've got a video coming out not too long. I'm going to be reviewing subscriber teams. So if you'd like me to review your team, head over to X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Drop your team in the comments down below. Put a screenshot of it, and you could potentially be in the next video. So do go have a look at that. All the socials are down in the description below. We've got X, we've got TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got all the good stuff. There's also a code to my Sun Dream Team League down there. Go join it. We've got quite a few members now. It's really, really nice to see that we've got a community building here. Many more names joined the league over the weekend. We've gone from strength to strength, and it's just nice to see, really. So thank you very much for watching. Do drop a thumbs up if possible and hit the subscribe button. We've smashed the 500 goal. Let's see where else we can take this channel. Leave a comment down below on how your team draft is coming. I'm intrigued to hear what sort of dilemmas you've got on your plate. My draft is changing ever so slightly. There's a few players that I'm hoping come into the database with regards to their prices. Might change things up a little bit, so there's a spoiler for you. But that's it, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll be seeing me in a new video very soon.